So today is Saturday. It is March 5th. It is 9 a.m. and we're hoping to go till 11 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I know some of you are joining us from across the ocean. So a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. And okay, let me start again. The Waiwai no na Kūpuna, Treasure of Our Ancestors, 2022 Virtual Summit and Workshops. Lomilomi Your Ohana, Part 2 with PuaoEleili Pinto, Saturday, March 5th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
That's me.
Wait, nope. Yeah.
My turn.
It's like tag.
Aloha, Kim. I'm nice to Kyoto again. Mahalo for returning. Hello, Vincent. Most of you guys, if you feel comfortable, I invite you guys to turn on your cameras. This is an interactive. Aloha, kumukamana. It's been so long. I'm just saying hello, Maggie. All right, yeah, if you guys want to, you can totally feel free to turn on your cameras. Did anyone go, if you didn't do your hi'uvai yesterday, did you guys go do a hi'uvai today? Let's hear it in the chat if you were able to. That's what, can you put a 1 if you were, put a 1 in the chat if you were here yesterday, or put a 2 in the chat if you are new? I was kind of going to get a gauge. Aloha. Okay, yeah, so most of you guys was here yesterday. Mahalo. Yeah, so for you guys, new guys, I just really mahalo this conference for actually when they started this, if you saw in the email, they recommended that we all do a hi'uvai to prepare for this conference. And so if you didn't watch the video, I really enjoyed the video and how it really went through, like, when you go to a space, you're preparing, you're asking permission to be in that space, to engage with that space, and to really release what does not serve you and be intentional about where you're moving forward to. And I found so many connections in that with Lomilomi. And so that's why I encourage you guys, if you haven't already done your hi'uvai or watched that video, it's such a beautiful piece. And Uluwehi, who is here with us, who introduced me, she actually did that video and recorded it. So mahalo Uluwehi for that amazing work. Yeah, I think we can just jump into the slide if that's all good. The slideshow. Oh, Nick too. Good job, Nick. I really love that slideshow. I mean, that movie. So ano ai ke aloha kākou o wau PuaoEleili no kailua mai au. Wa aia i ke manawa ma he ia. This morning, for my son's school, they had a maiden voyage for their va'a. They have his school is Kulaniakea, and so that's why I'm tuning in from my car. I'm at the boat pier, and it was just the most magical thing to see the va'a going into the water. So kalamai for not being at home in a safe place, but yeah. So I have this little list of like who I am. So I have 2 Keiki. I do Lomilomi, La'aulapa'au. Palewahine is I help Ohana during their birthing journey and a lot of the sometimes postpartum, and a researcher and doTERRA wellness advocate. And so I just say this just because these are the lens that I see the world through. And this kuleana that I've been so blessed to kind of come into has really helped me orientate the world. So I hope that you guys, if you came here yesterday, yes, you learned something new, or that however I can be of service. Yeah, next slide. And so, yeah, so this is an interactive workshop. I really like to hear what people understanding of Lomilomi is. And so if you guys, like if you were here yesterday, what were some of your takeaways of Lomi? And then if you're new, what is your definition of Lomi? And we're going to give about 5 minutes for everyone to answer. So you can unmute if you want. You can even put in your kumu if you do have kumu around Lomi. And so, yeah, I like to give a gauge of where everyone's out at. I don't see anything. Is my thing not loading? A healing art, connection through physical touch to bring healing and serenity. Nice. Healing with touch, aloha and pule. Oh, Vincent, you took notes yesterday. Thanks. Any other things? Do you have any kumu that you think of, or ohana that if you grew up with ohana, doing ohana lomi, I would love to know. Oh, akua's love. Being able to connect and heal with the person that you're giving lomi to. I love that. Healing for our body, mind, and spirit connection. Yeah, reconnecting to that. A loving touch. Yes, love the body. Just about 1 more minute of people to flow in any answers. Ohana Fregus. Oh, love through touch and prayer. Great. Okay. Yeah. And so the olelo no iao that we commonly hear is ʻaʻole pau ka ʻike ka hālau hoʻokahi. And so not all knowledge is from one school. And so that's what, wherever you're at of where your lomi was, that is correct as well. And what is important, what I love about how Pomai Frida, a talk I saw her, she is carrying on the work of Uncle Alva Andrews, if you know that renowned kahuna Lomilomi who passed just a few years ago. He was a living treasure for sure. But what she had said was that with the ike, it lives in a hālau. And so it's really important that we make sure what we know, what we learn from who, we keep that very clear. And so that you can really trace your genealogy of ike, even just like one thing. And so I have a number of different kumu. My main kumu is Kamaile Puaoi. And I know what I learned from Kamaile, and then I have a handful of other people that have served my lomi. And so this is one thing that I learned from Kumu Alva. This is one thing that I learned from Kupono Souza. And in that way, you're being really ma'e with what you're perpetuating. And lomi is really like hula, where there's all different kinds of hula, and depending, if you study with one kumu for many of years, you will start to have the touch that she has. And that's really what the beauty of being in a hālau lomi is, that you're mimicking that touch. And if I lomi somebody that my kumu has lomied, that her kumu has lomied, they'll be able to tell that the way that my hands move is from that kumu. And so yesterday they were really stressing that you find what your passion is, what you love to do, and then you follow into that kumu. And so that's one way to learn things. And then when you come to workshops like this, I cannot like tell you everything I learned over the years. And so it's nice to like teach you one thing that you can take away. And so the next slide is that one thing that I would really love. If you learned one thing, this is something that I feel is really important. Next slide, please. And so this is the genealogy of Lomi that I come from. So Kamaili Puaoe is who I learned from, and then her kumu is Maka'ala Yates, who I was blessed to do a couple weekend workshops with, and then his kumu was Auntie Margaret Machado. So I've never actually met Auntie Margaret in the physical, and just from having her words through the genealogy, as well as there's a number of publishings about Auntie Margaret. And this is what I love so much, how she defines Lomi. Aloha and prayer are the essence of Lomi, touching the body with a loving touch. If your hands are gentle and loving, your patients will feel the serenity of your heart, and their soul will reach out to yours so that Lord's healing will flow through you both. And so when I started my Lomi, the first year I finished my Lomi training, I was really scared. I was like, I finally could see myself as a Hawaiian, and I felt grounded in that, and that I would be doing this type of work for the rest of my life, because there's something in me that that finally clicked. And it scared me because you have to be able to clean out yourself, just like the Hi'uwai says, is clean out yourself, be an empty vessel to help guide people through their healing. And we learned a lot yesterday. Our lahu is in kind of our health crisis, right now. And we have all kind of generational trauma, colonial trauma, layers and layers of trauma. And so when someone lays on your table, you get the blessing of everything beautiful they are, and everything that they are, wherever they're at in their life. It's your job to not put any judgment on them, but just to have aloha for that body, and then connect to akua. And that was new work for me. I wasn't raised speaking ʻōlelo Hawaii. That was something that came later. I wasn't born with I have a couple of generations that were broken in this transference of this type of knowledge. There's some beautiful things that my Ohana passed down, but it was really this new playing field. And so the next slide is really similar, but really different. But this is what I really hope that you guys take, is that you can just love the body, is what Auntie Margaret said. So your hands will reveal your heart. If your hands are gentle and loving, your patient will feel the serenity of your heart, and the Lord's healing will flow throughout you both. Remember, Lomi is prayer work. And so this actually gave me that, after I was really had that scaredness of it, I got my ego out of the way and was able to approach it. Was, okay, Akua, I don't know how to do this. How can you help me? And so it doesn't matter if you're loaming people for your living, or you're just loaming your keiki. Just the fact that you can have a touch with so much aloha, you want to make sure that you don't touch somebody when you're angry. You don't touch somebody when you're irritated with them. You really need to check all your emotions at the door, because whoever is getting, even if it's just a simple couch lomi, you really need to be present for that moment. And I think that's what unfolds from being able to just engage and hear the body. It's one of the biggest blessings I have in my life. And so Auntie Margaret says that lomi is the touch of aloha. And so the next slide is what defines aloha in another way. And so our beautiful mo'i wahine, Queen Lilio Kalani. I know that this quote is very familiar to a lot of people, and just talks about how much grace and aloha she has for all the hardship that she went through in her lifetime. But one quote that I love at the second paragraph is, to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. That is aloha. And so aloha is the sixth sense that we have, that you can just look at the body and you can see all kind of different messages coming up. You can hear the body in a different way, and really engage with it. And I think when you look at aloha this way, it's an important way to see the world. Next slide, please. And so the other part of this is Auntie, she really said that this is joyful work. And so that's why I put this slide of me and this mama. Lomi is so much fun, like, especially if you're lomiing your ohana. This is a time to be playful. Like, you can look at it like the serious, like, okay, I'm mākua to do it. I'm going to, wherever you're at, we're going to do it. Have like that sense of like, do not just mess around. You're not making any kind when you're touching a body, but also to make sure you have that playfulness. And a way to get really centered into this work is I breathe with the person, using the ha or the breath to exhale pain. And how many people can feel where the pain is in their body right now? Yeah. And so who would have thought that you can actually just take a couple breaths, send that breath right to wherever that pain is. I have some in my neck a little bit, but just take a couple breaths, and with each inhale, it's like a little net going over wherever the pain is. And with each exhale, you're pulling out that pain. It's really a beautiful thing to engage with your body, to engage with another person. And the way that you breathe is what connects you. Next slide, please. And so this is, so today is Lomilomi with your Ohana. And so this is what Lomi in my Ohana, well, we're gonna go into it a little bit, but so on the far right is my son. He's 5 years old. And I love how yesterday at the opening talk, they said, bring your Keiki everywhere. And that's what I felt was really important for my Keiki as Lomi as a part of their life. And so if I'm doing an event, this was at Kumema schools where we got to Lomi the kumu and staff. And I felt it was my son should come with me, and he cleaned my table, and he helped me with the sheets, and just his presence, it adds a whole different dynamic to the Lomi. And he could see the way that the aunties and the uncles were working in the room, and learn how to sit quietly, learn how to observe the body. And you never know what they're picking up, but they're picking up something. And so even with my daughter, sometimes she'll have to be in a session with me, and I think it's just the best things when they're there to pick something up. And then this is me in my labor with the little baby on the ground. When you have the aloha and you practice with your kane, how to lomi, you're preparing for moments like this. So birth is a ceremony, is what our Kanaka believes. Kanaka Oiwi believe birth is a ceremony. And getting into that rhythm and flow of being able to bring the keiki from the po into the ao, at some point, especially in this part of my labor, words kind of fall away. And so it's nice when you're first starting to lomi, you have like a lot of laughter and you're trying to testing out, like, does this hurt? How does this feel? You're talking a lot, really getting into the touch. And when you're doing it in preparation for a childbirth labor, you're doing it so that when you're in this space, words fall away, and you can really get into a feeling with the way that I moved. My Kane could tell that, okay, that this is where she needs more pressure. This is where she doesn't want to be lomied. And it's really a big gift when you can get to this. And so in OEV birthing practices, our Kane have so much space, kuleana, to actually help us to bring this baby through. Fukui talked about this a lot. And so when lomi is that gift that if your Kane wants to show up for you in your labor, or Kane in this room, it's something that lomi is a really gift that you can bring. And so the next slide is kind of how my son navigates it.
Hello for your patience as I navigate through this as well. Okay, here we go.
Sorry, my bed is so messy in that time. But my intention for sharing with that was that there was all kinds of things. Like my son was actually just playing around with the body and trying to understand his balance of when he was standing on his dad was saying, oh, yep, that's the one. And then my son's name is Kaiana. And so Kaiana could say, feel like this, Dad? Does that feel good? And he was loaming with his knees. He was loaming with his hands. He was loaming with his feet. And so this is like an old thing, is that Aloha, Maggie. Yeah, it's just having that time to engage, and from Kaiana getting lomi to him learning how to lomi his dad, it's a fun nightly routine, and you guys get to build trust. It's another level to build trust. And so did anyone else grow up like this? Did anyone else grow up like this with their ohana?
I did.
Yeah.
I remember walking on my dad's back, and I didn't understand it when I was little, but I understood it, yeah, as I got older.
Oh yeah, what do you understand? What was some of the takeaways from doing that?
I actually remember being very little, maybe 3-4 years old, and I remember it was just time with my dad. It was just time spent together. And I thought it was like I thought it taught me how to balance and to be helpful. But at the time, it was just play for me.
Mommy, can I watch that?
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else want to share about how what that meant to it? You still do? Oh, my Keiki would do this too. Yeah, Lee Reen, would you want to share at all? Oh my gosh, Lorianne, that's funny. You said, I did too, and one was sad when they said I was too big and my younger siblings got to do it instead. That's fun. Anybody else want to share their experience? It's so nice to hear how other people were raised like this and what it meant for you, and something to carry on. Yeah. I did. Remembered my dad always asked me to walk on his back. Memories. Yeah. And so, yeah, there's only like a handful of memories that I have as a child. And so that this like lomi can be one of these things that really can be a cherished memory versus like sometimes we have like growing up with young parents.
She's busy.
Oh, Kavehi, you want to say?
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
So we were talking about what memories we have of when we were small, or what we have taken away as far as for Lomilomi.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, my dad was the only one that he would ask me for come do him, because whenever my mom or my other siblings would do it for Lomilomi him, he would say that their hands are too soft and he doesn't want those. He wants the hard kind muscle, kind work them out, muscle action. Hi, Uluwehi. Love you. So he would ask me, Kaveh, come here and go do me. And I said, okay. So I don't know. I just lomi him. And he's like, he only asked because he said that my hands are strong when I lomi him. And so he would only ask for me. So as I grew up and I got my own family, he would still go ahead and call me for come home to Kona and go lomi him, even though I raised my family in Hilo. So he would look forward. So he would ask me, oh, when you guys coming over? And, when the kids get vacation and Pelano and all that. So yeah, I remember those fond memories. But even now, I want to be lomi. There's nobody for lomi me, because it's like I like, where they break that muscle tension and all of that. So yeah, that's what I remember of him asking me for the mahalo.
Oh, mahalo, Kavehi, for sharing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard of this story. Like there's a certain person to mix the poi, because the way that their hands will engage with the poi is gonna be the flavor that the usually it's whoever is the one that gets to make that call. And so it's just the same with Lomi. So it's really cool to see who will have that gift. Because yeah, I'm one of 6 kids. I don't really remember walking on my dad's back, but it was actually my older brother that he would always ask me to lomi him and his friends. And that's how I started to get into like, oh, this is kind of cool, like how to engage the body like this. And so it's a fun sign to that you're actually, some people are born with this gift. And so Kavehi, that's awesome that you have that, even if it's in the family and it just stays in the family. Yeah, it's something to look for. And yeah, I really appreciate for my son. It's how we communicate to each other too. And he can tell when I'm stressed and stuff, because he'll just like the way that he can grab my neck and like, oh, he just really knows where to go and all my tension spots. And like, he's so young, but for him to have like that specific touch, when my nieces and stuff do that, it's a little bit different. I'm like, oh, it's good. I'm good. It's okay. But yeah, it's something to foster in kids, and even just play around with it. Okay, we can go back to the slideshow. Yeah, and so this is something that I've incorporated into my lomi that has really helped my ohana. It's Doterra essential oils. And it's been so integrated within my lomi practice. I really wanted to share with it. And so the next slide is kind of another reason what I think is really cool about this specific company. And it's a big company, but it's really giving back to Hawaii. And so I wanted to share a little bit about this. Uluwehi, will the video play?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I guess no video. It was just proving that showing how actually on the Big Island, in Kealakekua, Doterra has a 600-acre farm. I think 6,000 acre farm, and they're planting over 2 million trees of ʻiliahi. But as if you know ʻiliahi, it doesn't grow by itself. It needs koa, ohia, ho'ava. So I just thought it was so cool that this company that I get these oils that are helping my ohana. By using these oils, it's also helping to regrow our native forest. And so it had many of generations of keiki in Hawaii, and just seeing, I think that was cool about this company. And so next, and they do this all around the world. That's what makes this company a little bit different, is that they care about the longevity of both the community that is farming the medicine, as well as the plants for longevity. And just so many aligned values. Just wanted to, not all essential oils are created the same. And so what is different about doTERRA is that they're safe. And so if the label says lavender, it'll only be lavender inside. And so you see, like, even my 5-year-old can administer it to our baby, and that's how he's learning how to take care of his sister, just having these simple oils inside. They're effective. And so I'm going to change the story from this one is telling how this the essential oils can actually permeate the cell membrane of your body, and it can actually, that's what viruses live inside the cell, and then bacteria lives outside. And so when we use pharmaceuticals, because they're water-based medicine, it only can clean the outside of the cell. It cannot actually get into the cell. And so these essential oils, because they're oil, they can actually permeate the cell. And so that's why they're so effective against viruses. But for me, and the effectiveness actually comes in another way. And so my son, he's so kalohe, you'll see in the next slide. And one day he was just throwing pohaku, and he was not listening to me. Sometimes he does not listen to me. He's so in his way. And I was asking him, stop throwing those pohaku. Those are our Kūpuna. They're gonna bite you if you do not. And in that moment, after a little bit longer, the pohaku did bite him, and he comes back to me with a black and blue finger from a compression injury. And for those pressure injuries, it just takes a little bit longer for it to start getting, the longer you wait, the more throbbing is gonna come. And it's just just a couple of drops. So I always have this on me, is my little first aid kit of the oils, this little thing. And I had just a couple drops of a couple oils, actually the Iliahi and the Helichrysnum, and he was able to have his pain go away and really get into that reflective state of like, oh, kalamai kupuna, like really be remorseful, and to actually learn, because he was listening to Olala Hawaii songs about aipohaku. And because he was able to get out of that pain state and into the mihi state, the apology state, he was able to hear the lessons a little bit more. And so I really mahalo for these additions to our ohana. And they're really affordable. And so the same oils that I can clean my windows with is what I can use to help clean the cuts. And so just a couple of drops is what it took for him to get his pain taken away. Yeah. So next slide. So if you're going to use these oils, you use them in 3 different ways. Aromatically, just smell them. And so me and my son, I'm still healing from a lot of my past trauma of anger is something that I've inherited. And so working through being able to take a chill pill, smell is really effective. And so if you go to the hospital, you're gonna go into surgery, they put a mask on you for the anesthesia, and within seconds you're asleep. And so you can actually do that. That same effectiveness is you can do that with quality oils. And for me, if I'm like in that really angry state, my son will just hand me an oil and then I'll be able to calm down. And same with him, because he's inherited that as well, that we're still working through. And I can hand him the oil, and then we can come back to that aloha state for each other and come back to that patience. And so that's how effective smell is. topical. And so if you do want to actually apply it to your skin, so my newborn, which she had rashes, you can put it on. You can put it directly on the skin. It'll help all kinds of skin ailments, eczema, sore muscles. And so this is why I included in my Lomi slide, because I often Lomi muscles with it, and it's really effective to move energy, move mana. One of my friends, she's an acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist. She actually doesn't use needles anymore in her acupuncture. She only uses essential oils because that's how effective these oils are to move energy within the body. And then internal. And so this is what stands Doterra apart from other oils, is that if you go to like Whole Foods or Walmart or wherever all these other places to buy oils, it'll say like 100% therapeutic grade essential oils, but then if you read the little label, it'll say aromatic use only. So you can't even put it on your skin. Sometimes you can put it topical, but really rarely will be internal. And so if you can eat a peppermint leaf, if you can eat a lavender leaf, you should be able to eat the essential oils. And so that's like a really quality control by being able to ingest them, and it helps with all kinds of things, increasing your mood and detoxing. And so this is something that uses my Ohana. You can go to the next slide. And the next video is how our Ohana uses. It's so silly, it's so silly. But yeah.
Well, you muted yourself.
Thank you. Sorry. Mahalo for indulging in that with me. Yeah, my son, he's so kolohe and he's so loving, and the Lomi is really just a nice way to like set in, and it's not anything complicated that I was doing. It's really just like an open hand Lomi, and just the fact, I just really appreciate these moments where he wants to, and it's something that I can give my son to make him feel better. And what I found, you know, my kids are only young, like I'm not a very experienced mom, but just the fact that he can articulate to me where his pain is in his body. And I feel like in today's society, so much of the time they're asking us to ignore our pain, ignore, and just keep working. And it's really kind of like, if you ignore your body, how much other things are you tuning out? And you're just going away like with the grind. And so when you have that time to reflect on your body and really listen to what your body needs, that's what comes up often in the Lomi, is like, oh, I never knew that part was sore. And if we don't know our body is in pain, how are we supposed to help it? If we're just ignoring it, we only can go so long before you just like, your body just gives itself up, and then we're out of commission, you know? So I was raised in the LDS temple, and what are the LDS church, that Mormon church, and what they taught us was our body is a temple, and we really need to take care of our body, because this is our only home. And by also taking care of our bodies, it'll teach us to take care of others, to even listen more to the Aina and what the Aina needs. And there's so much interplay between that. And so the simple gift of, from our little kids, being able to articulate their pains and what they need to help, is the gift that, if you Lomi in your Ohana, this is something that you can be teaching them, as how to have sovereignty over their own health. Is there any questions, comments, concerns? The next part of the presentation is you guys get to choose. So I have a couple areas of where we can Lomi, what type of interaction you guys would like.
So you should see a poll come up on your screen. Just click a button and we'll be able to see on our side. So the choices are, what would you be interested in learning today more about through Lomi? Na'uiho, which is self, he, which is baby, hoa, or partner. So this will help Pua to focus the next. Don't be shy. Promise you can't tell who's who.
Hey, Uluwehi, Pua, while we wait for the survey, I just wanted to say, Pua, how wonderful it was to see those videos. Mahalo for inviting us into your home and showing us how. I was thinking about, I've been in one of your classes before, and I while you were doing that, I could hear that your kumu when she'd say, love the body. And yeah, I just wanted to share how wonderful. I could hear your voice saying your kumu's words as you were loving your keiki. So mahalo for sharing that.
Yeah, love the body. Yeah, something so simple. Love the body. Mahalo net. Yeah, that's yeah, it really helps you to put in that space. And yeah, sometimes night is crazy. Like it's not always like that nice, but when we can carve the time out to be intentional, it helps with their sleep. It helps with just our connection. If me and my son are like fighting a lot, I'm like, oh wow, we haven't lomied in a while. We haven't had that time to really connect. And usually I would have my Keiki with me, but their Puna is her days with us are numbered, and so they're spending all the time they can with her. And it's such an interesting thing that my son is experiencing this at 5. He's fully aware that his Puna is on his way out. And we had this yesterday when I picked him up from school. He was really fighting me. I was like, what the heck is going on? And I was trying to work through it. And then he just needed to cry, like cry. And then I was in like a mood, like I was not dealing with it. And I was like, okay, Kaiana, I don't know what's going on, but do not get into my car unless you are like ready and until you stop crying. And so he cried and cried and cried and cried. And I was like, this has nothing to do with what we're fighting about. It was like a sentence structure that I was trying to correct him on. And then I had him come over and walk over to my door, and still he had to cry and let it out. And then I just held him. And then from my lomi, I could hear there was something else that's going on. So I hold him, and he cries and he cries. And then he says, I don't want my Puna to die. And then he cries some more. And then we were able to have that moment to really talk about it. She's going to go back to our mākua. She's going back to the Kūpuna. She's going back to Jesus. It's not something to scare. And like we full on went to like this, like mom's gonna die, dad's gonna die. And that's why it's so important that you take the time right now to do that. And then he drank water, he ate some food after that. And you could just feel that change of energy. And so just cycling, having your body being able to cycle through those changes is what I feel like Lomi allows us to do. We're really acknowledging our pain. We're trying to really isolate the root of what is causing our pain. And we're not trying to numb it. We're not trying to anything, but we're working through it. And that crying helps you work through it. And then that listening and that holding space for your keiki to unfold, and then give them space to explore what is happening within their bodies. It's just a lesson that I just learned was even more important from it. And I feel like this Lomi, being able to listen to him, I can tell when something's a little bit off, that he needs to process something, and really encourage him. Oh, good job for being able to articulate that one. I think it's such an important lesson. And so that's why Lomi Your, Ohana, all these little gifts will keep coming through. And he was able, after he was able to process it, then like all that kaumaha kind of stuff, that why we were arguing, it totally shifted. And he was able to like show up to his, like drop them off at his puna's house, and be able to appreciate the time that he has left with her. And so, yeah, that's a little bit what my Ohana's going through. But what did the poll results say? Self-Lomi. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, so the parts from, so if you do have a oil, if you're wearing like a tank top or something, you might want to get some oil if you do have, but or like over your clothing is a really good thing if you don't have oil. But something I think we went over yesterday is always helpful is so your body position. This was something that my kumu like blew my mind on. So if you hold your hand like this versus you hold your hand like this, you tighten your hands, you loosen your hands. Those are all different lomi strokes, ways to lomi. If you flex your finger, if you relax your finger, if you turn your finger this, your hand like this, if you turn your hand like that, all these different ways, like just this one tool. So our whole body is a tool. Our parts of our body is tool. This is the nice curved edge of our body. And what she taught yesterday, what she taught was our body is meant to fit into, our body is made to fit into our body like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. Sorry, I feel like yesterday I was articulating it a lot better. But when we're loaming ourselves, we're gonna do this together. I really like to always, at a computer, you're always like crushed open like this. Actually, we'll go back. There's pain inside the room. People said that there's pain in their bodies. Where's people feeling the pain? What part of their bodies? You can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself.
My neck.
Oh, your neck, lower back, feet. Okay, we have 2 for lower back. They're winning right now. Your hands. We have 1 neck, 1 hands, 1. Oh, we need a whole body lomi. But lower back is winning with 2 votes. Yeah. Okay. Oop. I feel like this is a important. Okay, we'll do lower back and neck. Neck is sore. That means you need to stand up. So we're gonna stand up and, oh, sorry, muted. Yeah. This and okay. So we're gonna stand up, put me down like this. Okay, you guys just follow. And so we stand up. We need to release our shoulders back. So if your back is sore, you need to do the opposite of what you usually do. So if you're always in a chair, you're always sitting down like this, these muscles are very tight. And so this is one thing that my kumu taught me. She's all about the booty. And so we're going to stretch out our the biggest muscles in our bodies, our gluteus maximus. Oh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hi, Pua. We can hear you. Just if the camera is slowly catching up, I think your connection is just reconnecting from getting in and out of the car.
Oh, should I not do that one then?
No, I think you can. We just got to give it a moment for your phone to catch up.
Okay.
We got to
Are
be
people
patient for them.
standing with me?
Yeah.
Are people standing with me?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay.
are.
Okay. So
You're good.
this is yeah. We're going to do like stretching and lomi at the same time. Okay. So
Okay, give it a moment, Pua. Hold on.
So,
Touch.
if-
Pua. Okay. Let the video catch up. Hold on, sweetheart. Okay. Now we can see you. We hear you. We're all good. All right. Olomoa. Mahalo.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, this ability to open our shoulders up, open our hips up, have plumb hips. But there's this little bands that come in here and they're constantly being shortened when we are sitting in the seated position. And so when you stand up and you're able to actually move your hips forward, you can feel these stretching. And so I love this yoga pose. This is the one that my kumu actually taught me, is that when you do a lunge, the back leg, the leg that stays behind, you can feel this stretch, this muscle stretch. And so if you're having she called it a sore ass, because the name of this muscle is psoas. But this is the muscle that you want to start giving attention to for your sore back, or anything that's blocking. And just this lunge like this. And you can play with it and like really get to know your body in this sense. It's like it's like a 2-inch band. Like it's literally the size of, if you put your hands like this in that area, you can go like this across it and you can feel the band. Can people feel it? Is anyone doing it?
Feel it. I feel it.
Thanks, Vincent. I can see you doing it too. So the deeper that you can sit into that lunge, that will really help your lower back. And then Auntie Margaret always said that one side will get jealous. So this is just a simple thing, like sitting and squatting for like 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, 5 breaths, breathing into it. Really give your focus to this muscle. And then taking a step forward, switching sides, doing the other side, and stretching into it. You should really feel a stretch in this groin muscle. Couple deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale the pain.
Well, should my heel be back on the ground or my back leg?
Yep. It should be at like a 40-degree angle. So your heels should be, your front heel and your back heel should be in alignment in a straight line. And then your back toe should be out just a quarter turn to the left. What are on the outside, not towards your feet, but to not towards. Your 2 toes should not be in the same way. It should be like not an adjacent angle, but in between an adjacent angle, like kind of curved. Does that make sense? Like if it's not at 12 o'clock, it's at 9 o'clock is where your toes should be, your back toe should be facing. And then if you, your front knee, the one that you're bending, it should be straight above your ankle. Your knee and your ankle should be a straight line. If you are, your knee is really lunging over your, let's see if I can show you. Can you see me? Okay, so if you're like this and your knee and your ankle are over each other, you're gonna blow out your knee. So you need to step forward and make sure, or step backwards and make sure your knee and your ankle are always in alignment. And then you put your hands on your hips. And you make sure that your hips are, the 2 bones, your hip bones
are facing forward. And then if you need to take a step back for your back heel, that's what will stretch out that psoas muscle. How's that feel? And so, get back in my car. Yeah, so that one is like one of the most important if you are, if your back is sore, that will really help to open your back. And even when you get up in the morning, you can lomi that. So you do the lunge so that you can feel where that little, and then you can do like the touch your toes, bring your feet together, touch your toes. That movement of going from touching your toes and then straight up touching the sky. That movement will help to bring the circulation into it. And then you can start do like little circles around your back. And so we talked about this a little bit yesterday. And we'll do that on the chest. We'll do that on the chest right now. So any questions about that? Have to do the
Maybe she lost connection.
Yep.
Lomilomi, everyone.
All that movement. This is your chance to go ahead, if you haven't already sat back down, make sure you get that drink of water, right? Hydration is part of this. I will give her a message to let her know that we have lost connection. But yes, drink that water. Mahalo, Kim. You were the one that she pointed out yesterday. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. One of the things
I'm
that
back.
Yay!
Sorry, thank you for reminding about the water. Did you share that whole story?
I didn't get a chance to share the whole story yet, but you can. Please do.
Okay. Before I share that story, how is trying to get healthier, so lots of water. Yay, good job. Is there any questions about that lunge? And then trying to find the psoas? And then, okay. All right, sorry, that one was not the easiest to do. But stretching and being able to like lomi out that. Just play with your body. So the story, so I actually learned this. This is like a momi that I learned from Auntie Fran Dudois. Auntie Fran, if you don't know her, if you know her, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't know her, put a 2. I'm just wondering how amazing she is. 2. Yeah, if you don't know her, 1. If you know her, 1. If you don't know her, 2. Okay. Oh my gosh, we have so much to mahalo for Auntie Fran. So if you didn't know, healing practices of Lomilomi, La'au Lapa'au, La'au Kahea, and Ho'oponopono. So these 4 healing modalities, Auntie Fran and a group of other Kūpuna, they lobbied the legislation because the state was trying to make certification, you know, like at massage schools for these 4 practices. And the Kūpuna got together and they said, no, it's a genealogy thing and you need to be like immersed in it. And so they made sure that they protected these Hawaiian practices on a federal level, that it's not the state that can regulate it. It's actually us Kanaka that can regulate it, and Papaʻolokahi helps with that, and it's a Kūpuna board. And so if you're known in your community to be able to that you can trace your Iki genealogy back, that is how we want to regulate our healing modalities, and that you should be able to be practiced, and liability should not be something that you worry about for carrying on this Ike, and practicing. And they can also say like, no, that person is a quack, they're just making any kind. They have that ability to be like, they cannot just cover under this umbrella that Auntie Fran helped with that one. So we have a lot to mahalo her for being that really kuleana. And if someone is interested in that, I can actually email Uluwehi or Nick that legislation piece, because I think it's so critical. And it was actually threatened this year. Waiwai Health actually they wanted to be the malu of that instead. I don't know that. I'm not super political, but it was threatened this year. And so it's something that still needs to be protected. Auntie Fran was really huffy that she had to go back into the legislation. Anyways, Auntie Fran, she is a Lomilomi Ho'oponopono practitioner, La'aulapa'au practitioner as well, unbroken chain. And she works out of Waikiki Health Center right now. And she actually refused to lomi people if they are not hydrated. You actually will do more harm than good if you are not hydrated for your lomi. And so that was amazing for me to learn, because after I learned that, I was able to hear that with my hands when I touch a body. So when you touch a body that is dehydrated, you feel that dry skin. There's different types of dryness. Doesn't matter if they're putting lotion or on top of it. The difference between a hydrated skin that is someone that drinks enough water versus a dry skin that is someone that is severely dehydrated is a significant difference. And it's such a beautiful thing to be your person, you have to show up to the lomi prepared. And you prepare this by drinking water. And Levon Ohai, he's a kahuna la'aulapa'au that from Kauai and used to teach at UH. And he would often say, don't waste the la'au time. If you're not going to change your lifestyle, if you're going to still eat McDonald's and Coca-Cola versus water and something that your body needs in this type of sickness, do not think the plants are going to be the one to save you. Just like the lomi, you cannot show up to a lomi table and be disregarding your body for the last 60 years and think that in that hour that person is going to save everything. It's unrealistic. And so it takes time. You need to at least step one, drink sufficient amount of water. And what is a sufficient amount of water? Does anyone know how much water you should be drinking a day?
My skin is dry because I don't have enough.
Be clear. Francine, Francine, half a gallon. Half your body weight in ounces. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I heard it was your body weight in ounces, because if you're 90% water, then whatever your body weight is, the 90% of that in ounces is what I was heard. But that's a lot. So I'm 250, and so that is 2 gallons of water. 160, what is that? 120 is I need at least a gallon to 2 gallons of water to make sure that I'm hydrated. And so yeah, dry skin, chapped lips. If your shishi is not clear, that is severely dehydrated. If you're mediumly hydrated, your shishi should run clear. And so that's kind of interesting. There's a spectrum there. But sometimes Auntie Fran, she would, if someone comes to her dehydrated, she can actually feel it in the kidneys, and she would just put ice packs on the kidneys and then send them on their way. And be like, oh, try again next time. Try again next time. And she would keep doing this with people. And so yeah, let's all take a sip of water. Because so when you lomi the body, you're literally loaming out. So when you work out, you have lactic acid that's coming out of your muscles and all this other things that you're pulling out. And it's getting into your bloodstream. So the most effective way to get that out of your body is when you drink water. And if you don't drink enough water, especially before and after a lomi, the lomi person will release this into your bloodstream. And then when it reabsorbs into your your body and your muscles, it comes back for vengeance. And people like wake up feeling sick, and then they blame the Lomi person. And so it's actually like, it'll totally erase everything. And so that's one thing that, yeah, you got to be on the lookout for. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. We're going to go into, guys, I hope this is valuable for your Saturday morning. Sorry, it's a little bit scattered. Okay. So let's go back into loaming the neck. Okay. I actually, so for my sore muscles, I don't know why, I have this eucalyptus oil that I really want to use on my body. So if you have Doterra, or if you have anything that you like to lomi, if you have wanoi, anything from your ohana, you can grab it. But so we're going to be this whole act of like grabbing your neck. You guys know, so let's explore the back of our neck for a little bit. So at the, like, if you're lining up at your ears and you can feel that there's bones right behind your ear of like your skull, the base of your skull. So right around here. So we're just lightly gonna trace what the back of our neck looks like. And so you're going behind your ears, you're doing the whole backside of your ears. You're putting a nice amount of pressure where you can actually feel through your skin, but you're not like digging into yourself, okay? There's a difference. There's like this nice line. Mahalo Eden. Okay, so we're tracing the backside of, like, we're feeling where the bones are. We're feeling where there's this like little like pulley that comes at the back of your neck, you know? Can everyone feel the pulleys of the backs of their necks? And then you can kind of, it like is like this U, like you have two shapes like this in the back of your neck. That's what we're trying to feel for right now. And so just take your time until you can feel that. And you can feel right at the base of your skull. Let's see if I can roll me backwards like this. So, can you see me? Does this look okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. So this is like, so your bones are your markers. We're not going to be loaming on the bones, but kind of a little bit pressure, but you're trying to find just where the bone meets muscle. And so that's what you really want to focus on when you're loaming the neck. And then when you get to this really meaty part at the base of your skull, that is what we want to find. So that is a marker where we're going to be pushing pressure, and we're going to release our whole neck this way. And so, so am I still in frame?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Good to go.
So at the back of your neck, you're going to take your two fingers, and we're going to be, it's not going to be like the tip of our neck, of our nails. It's going to be the ball of our fingertips. You know, when you stand on your toes, the balls of your toes. And so that's what we're going to be placing our thumb at one side of the pulley, at the bottom of the pulley of our neck, and then the finger at the other way. And when you just press right where, if you're as close to the bone where you're not on the bone, and you're not on the belly of the muscle, but just at the insertion point is what they call it. And so this space, you have a little playroom, go up and down, but that's where you really want to hit for the top of your neck. And you'll release so many muscles, and just breathe. Find where it feels like, oh, this feels.
What, can you hear us, sweetheart?
I like that, focusing on the breath and the breathing. Oh, that's so important, you know.
Mhm. Pressure. And it shouldn't be hurting in your arm.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta switch sides. Yeah, switch sides.
Switch sides. All right, let me let her know real quick. Oh, okay.
Yeah, mahalo to everybody for your patience with these tech issues. Pua is a mama and she's trying to take care of her other mama kuleanas too. So we appreciate her time this morning. And but yeah, let's all focus on our breathing. Deep breath in. This is a good spot to focus on. I know when you get headaches, this is the part where it helps to release that, yeah, right at the base of the skull.
Mahalo for you guys' participation as well. Just like when we're in person, seeing and hearing and participation means a lot. It helps the process.
Yeah, yesterday in our Lua presentation with Olohe Lua Kiani, he was talking about all the exercises that he does are all the foundation of all of them is the breath and the breathing, the hanu. So we really got to focus on that. As we press down, we release, yeah. So yeah, and if I see Vincent, are you with Kim? Are you guys together? Oh, terrific. So if you are with somebody else, then to me, that's one of the more magical spots to Lomi, that point behind the head. And I'm not a trained practitioner like like Pua, but I do know a little bit from being a husband, that giving that little Lomi there, this is that point which really helps to release all of that tension and the headaches.
Is that what's going over there, Vincent and Kim? Nice.
I love it. I love it.
It's a big help because I have injuries, so I can't do certain things. But already from just yesterday and today, this is the best he's made me feel ever.
Oh man.
Oh, with the neck massage.
Yeah, there we go. I hope you repay him with a nice feed this evening, yeah?
I feed him well.
I bet, yeah.
And we're doing the healthy eating too.
Wonderful. Oh, well, I hope, oh, Pua's back. Okay, I see her now. Okay, Pua, I'm gonna pin you again.
Hi, sorry. My phone was heating up apparently. I'm so sorry. That was nice. Oh, look, it's got a lomi stick. Nice. That's awesome. So did you guys learn how to lomi your neck? Hi. How you guys feeling? Should we hold on with that? Where did I actually clock out? Black out. At what point?
I think you were just going into squeezing the back of the neck. You had your back to us like this, and then we had the freeze. So yeah.
Squeezing the back of the neck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you
How was
share
that?
a little bit more about maybe the breathing that goes along with it too?
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Can everyone find at the base of their ribs? So we have our sternum. Yeah, we learned about the sternum yesterday, and it goes all the way down. At the bottom of this, right at like the pico line, before your for me, before my flap starts to like hang over, but in between that space, so at the bottom of your rib cage, so these is like where your rib cage is, and right in this base of it, at the bottom of your ribs intersection point. That's your diaphragm. And so when you are inhaling and when you're exhaling, you're working on getting your breath down to your diaphragm. And so each inhalation, you can feel your stomach, your breath going all the way down and filling up your stomach. So each inhalation, fill up your stomach, send it down to this point. And then when you exhale, you're pushing your stomach and trying to get everything. That's how you do really quality deep breathing. Filling up your lungs and then going deeper to this diaphragm point. And so when you're loming and you're feeling, oh, that feels nice, that's nice. Oh, wow, that spot. Whenever you feel that spot, that is where you find like the heart of your pain. And so when you hit that spot, the best thing that you can do is hold that pressure of that spot. And then that's when you go into those deep breathing. That's the breath that will take it straight to that pressure point and take out your pain. So however many that you need to do that, but 3 to 5 is usually what I have work with my patient. Then if you're doing your Keiki and stuff, or whoever you're working on, your Kane, your Ohana, you ask until you can feel like this type of, like if you're holding that pressure point of where it hurts, and after a few breaths, you can feel like it dissolve. It's the coolest thing. And so, did anyone feel it? You're feeling, I'm getting some head nods. Okay, good. Yeah, so this is what we can start to know the unknowable, see what is not seen. That's what those signs in your body that you're looking for. So the whole time that Maka'alo, I think, I'm not sure if you got this from Auntie Margaret or this is something he kind of put into his practice, but communing to the level of the cells, deep, deep, deep. That's what he's talking about. When your body, you're able to just have that body unfold. And so wherever you are, and so let's play. I feel like this was a really good one for yesterday. We're gonna go into the anatomy of our neck again. And so you see like the really, you can really see the shape of your neck. So you have your clavicle here, you have just this meaty part, you have this pu'u, you know, where we hold the world on our shoulders. So the pu'u is here, but then at the base of each pu'u, that's these pressure points that you really want to be focusing on. And so yesterday we learned that this part of our body fits really perfectly. This curve matches the curve of the base of that summit of our pali. So if you put your palm right above your clavicle, and you're able to have your hands fall over to the back, so it's right there, and you're able to actually hold the whole base of that pali and squeeze it and lomi that. That's a place that you can really focus all that pain. And so when your fingers are grabbing, they're not like scratching you. You're really making sure it's that that ball of your fingertips. And that, if you want to feel what it feels like when it's together or when you space it out, depending on the size of your little maunas, feel where your hands naturally fall, and then squeeze that really well. Give it a breath, and then move it either to the right or to the left, you choose. Just a hair, so that you're in a whole new spot. Breathe, and then move another hair to the right, breathe, and go back and forth. And so that was the thing that what makes Auntie Margaret's style distinct is that you have the part where you're really putting pressure You're breathing in with that pressure, light, deep, deeper, doing it 3 times. And then the soothe, soothe, soothe. Love the body. Erase, erase, erase. And so you're pushing your body to that point of where it's really painful. And then you're loving it. And you're like, oh, good job. Oh, we really let some stuff go there. And so that love the body is really what makes her a little bit different, is that I push my son to the edge, like, don't come into my car till you're done crying. And then follow it with love. That's literally the style of my parenting. It's like from Lomi. Is like, yeah, that ku and hina is that balance of it. Is that what we're playing with? That we're the feminine, we're the masculine. Sometimes you have to get straight to the point, cut through all the BS to be able to love and release the body. And so, yeah. And then each little muscle, each little pain has a memory in it. And so when you're like releasing that, you can actually see the ku and hina parenting. Yeah. When you're touching your body. And so again, when you're like, I don't know what part of my body is sore. I released this. This is what was yelling at me. And so that's when it's just time to explore your body. And I hear this again and again, that people don't know where the pains of their body because they're just trying to ignore it so much. And something that, like, I see a couple of different healers and they're like, you need to spend time. Like, this is what your kumu taught you to do, is just touch the body, love the body, explore your own body. And so, and do it in a way that is like, love the body. So, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my arms are huge. We're letting that thought go. We're going to like, oh, hello. Hello, all this extra fluff. Hello, all this jiggles. Thank you. Thank you for keeping my body my body safe. Thank you for being that loving hug for your children, for yourself. And you're really just exploring, and like, it's a really, so this is what I was saying about this open hand palm. When you're kind of just like trying to explore your body, you're doing it in a way that is, you're not like, this is not if you're flexing it, it's a different one. When you have your body soft, like Auntie Margaret was saying, this is that reassuring, that tutu love kind of like position of your hand. It's like together, it's not letting anything flow out. The energy is not flowing out like this. It's this soft coupled one. I don't know if there's any lei makers, but the way that you pick a puaʻeleili flower, you know, it's like pressure, but it's like really specific. You're holding it, and I can't do this. But this is what I imagine. Like, my alter ego one day will be able to make a puaʻeleili without making the whole thing brown. But like, that's what I'm imagining. It's just the softness of your hand and that hula dancer hand flow of it. Like, Lomi can be this beautiful hula motion. Like, you don't see hula dancers like this or like two-stot, whatever. It's nice flow together. There's just this like flow to your hand. And so that's when you're touching and you're exploring your body. It's this level of softness. And then once you're like scanning your body, then you get to a point and then it's like, hey, I need more attention than just that scan. And so that's what you're looking for. And so for a lot of people that like, yeah, how's this going? Oh, I love how Sid is still at the neck. Yeah, a lot of people. Barbara, nice. Yeah. I love how you guys are feeling yourself and just really giving yourself. Okay, so 2 things that I can see from you ladies, that you're still hunched over while you're like loaming yourself and you're feeling all good and stuff. You're still really hunched over. So I want to see how you guys feel that change when you lift up your spine a little bit. So I want you to actually go more and extend it backwards. And then try and lomi it with opening. Yeah, I really like, yep, good job, Barbara. Open up your shoulders when you're loaming it. Yeah, open this up. Opening, yeah, opening and loaming that. Lift your head up. Feel like you can do that finger dance up and down around your spine in the back. Finger dance it up. Oh my gosh, there's a whole line of people, right? Like, what is she doing? Hi. Yeah, and just feel your body opening it up. So us opening our body in the opposite ways that we're closing it off all the time. Open your heart. This is what something my kumu always says. Open your heart. Move in the direction of your heart. And I want to go back to the Uncle Alva thing. So I can really feel this opening and releasing. And this actually helps your neck come back into alignment. So your neck is like this. When we're always like this, our whole front is this, and it really stresses our neck out. And so when we're able to do the opposite, fall back into it, go back into those quality breaths. We want to really open it up. And so for my body is really feeling, going back to our clavicle. And one of the little momis that I got from Kumu Alva Andrews, when he worked on me, he kept going like this. And Uncle Alva, he had this chiropractic tool where it goes pop, pop, and it's just like really crazy pressure, like specific pressure. It's not like hard, but it's just like this little bit of pressure that he would always work with. He's releasing mana pockets is what he would call it. And so for me, he kept doing this to me. And he just kept like your whole sternum, he would work up and down. And so for me, I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, your heart is too open. I cried. I would always cry. I'm like a big crier. Like I would just say my name, introducing myself, and I would start crying. And so Uncle Alva, the gift that he taught me was that this simple act was because I was like just taking in too much information. This was the gift where I could put up my force field and just diffuse a little bit more information so that it was actually readable. It wasn't overwhelming for me. Kimmy's like that too. Yeah, it's my superpower. Now I've actually learned how to, like, my crying is my superpower. I can totally diffuse it. So I'm able to like change it. And so do you feel like that too, Kimmy? All that, like, we wear our hearts on our shoulder, but it was when I'm emotional. Yes. Yeah. And so that is a beautiful thing. It's nice to be emotional, but when it's uncontrollable emotions, it's hard to communicate. And so when you feel yourself being over to emotion and you're having a hard time expressing yourself, this is the gift that I took away from what he was telling me. And it's like, just come back to center, put up your force field, like, here we go. We're in a protective bubble. What is it that you're really trying to express? What is it that you're really trying to say? And then another person taught me your breath, because my voice, it would always go really high when I was so emotional. And so with the breath, that's why they taught me about the diaphragm. And so you're reaching to the core of the earth with your breath. You're reaching down. You put up your force field so that you can decipher what the world is trying to tell you. And then you root to your Kūpuna so that you can able to communicate with a different type of mana. And being really aware of what is flowing in and out of your bubble. Does anyone watch Dune? Can anyone read the book Dune? And you have like the voice that the Bene Gesserit talked about. Watch the movie. They didn't really go the voice, but the voice where they can control people, that's the voice. Like that's what was it like was what our Kūpuna had. Is when you're really able to connect to the is it the Wailua of like the soul of a person, that really true essence being of them. That's what, when you're able to communicate down to that voice, get your voice down to that. It's important. And so this little spot, just really being able to open it, go up and down between each ribs. That's what it helps to do. Open your lungs up. How we doing? Yep. Thanks, Vincent. I see you really going at it. Yeah. Okay. So any questions now? Where are we at? We're at 10:36. Any questions about hand positions? I love it. Good job, Nick. Really giving your body the attention after all it took to put on this beautiful conference. You held a lot of that into your body. Thank you for doing this for us.
So when we find that spot, that's where we kind of just press down and breathe, yeah? And try to sit up straight and tall.
Yep, you change your whole frame. You're like, whew. Yep, exactly. Press. You start with a lighter pressure. With each breath, you go deeper. You're imagining the upena coming over that spot. Each breath, it's taking out that pain. That's a nice visual. Anything else? Do some shoulder rolls in there, some backward shoulder rolls. And then stretching it up. We did. Do people lomi their armpits? Has anyone lomied their armpits? I know it's a part that we only lomi it when we're putting deodorant on. But this is where a lot of stuff gets stuck. Yeah, kavehi. Lomi the armpits. So your body, everything. That's one thing that Auntie Margaret would say. I saw a little video of her. I was so cool to see like her a video someone recorded that she could tell, you know, when you're loaming yourself, you're touching all the spots. She could tell where you missed. And she'd be like, oh, you missed a spot on your body. And so that's what I always think about. Like, can I tell where it missed? And so you like lomi your susu, lomi your vaiu. Even if you're like a breastfeeding mama. Okay. I'm gonna take a 5-minute bathroom break. Everyone else can take a bathroom break. I see a bathroom right next to me. I'm gonna go run to the bathroom and then we'll come back and we'll do any closing kind stuff. Okay, I'll be back.
Right, so we're gonna take a little break, yeah, Uluwehi? Okay, so we'll see everybody back in about 5 minutes.
How you doing, Barbara? I can see your face. Hello, how's everyone doing? Kim, you doing okay in Aotearoa? Must be nighttime over there, huh? Oh no, you're 1 hour behind us.
1 hour. I think we're 1 hour difference, but we're a day ahead of you.
They hit L behind.
Yeah, it's the 6th over there, yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
It's Sunday.
Yep, we're still in Saturday. It's so cool.
Sunday's going to be a good day too.
We miss all our family and friends there.
Oh, didn't your borders just open up again?
Yeah. Yep.
Good. So now you can actually come and visit us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're lying low at the moment. Our COVID numbers are high. We're behind the world.
I thought you guys were doing so good.
Yeah.
We did so good.
Dang. Everyone's got to get some COVID, huh? Not so crazy.
Yeah. We've been pretty lucky here. Yeah.
I hope everything's safe now. All right. So you guys all moved out a little bit looser now. Anyone have any stories that got something that you thought of? I know so many people have amazing kumu. You have any kumu that were coming through and have a story for us all? Or Kūpuna, or auntie, or child. I heard somebody they were raised doing opu, like I had an auntie that would do opu huli. My cats love when you massage them. Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sid. Oh, bye. Oh, bye, Sid. Mahalo, everybody. Yeah. If we have how many people? We have 22 people. One thing that I really loved learning from Hawaiian is that we open with aloha and we close with mahalo. And so if we have 22 people, we have 15 minutes. You can say a sentence, a word, or a phrase, anything that you want of gratitude. And then that's how we'll close our session. So Vincent, you're the first one I see. Can you start us out?
No.
Are you double screening?
Yeah, look.
Oh, okay. No, hang on.
Okay, Miss Kim. Well, Vincent's getting voiced. Kim and Connie.
Oh, kia ora whānau. Tēnei te mihi kia ko te katoa, kia koe hoki pua, kia tau hoki o nā mahi. Kia ora whānau, just like to say thank you to Pua, amazing 2 days, and thank you to all our organisers for organising this awesome conference. We've had such a great day and a half. So thank you all.
Especially love your beautiful energy, your heart. No, seriously. As I've said to you, we lost my sister a few days ago. She drowned. And so it's been a sad time, and we're trying to get her body back to Aotearoa. And I wanted to put the time aside for this, and I'm so glad I did, because I see your beautiful faces. I can feel your energy. I'm so blessed to have met you all this way. So thank you to everyone. It's even all the people I can see there. Thank you. Mahalo nui.
Oh, aloha nui to your sister and your ohana in this time. Whew, mahalo. All right, Mr. Vincent, are you ready?
Mahalo, ano. Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Uncle Kumukemana, do you want to say anything or type anything? I see some people are typing in the chat if you want.
Ai aloha nui mai kako, mahalo i o ko pakahea pau ke aku o e pua no ke ia ike me ke kanui aloha au i ho'owili maluno ma ko pakahea pau. Kala mai ka hiki ole ke ho'i ke wikio ai wa kahi wahi mai ka i ole ke kukuna. Mahalo to each and every one of you, and mahalo to you, Pua, for sharing not just the knowledge that you've gained over the years, but your passion and your, you know, I remember as you're starting on these journeys, not that long ago, because if I say a long time ago, that says how old I am, but you know, I love what you're doing for our Lahui and what you bring. You know, finding that passion and continuing on with each of that. And, you know, mahalo for everybody, all the stories, all the mana'o in the chat and vocalized. I was following along, and my so as my Maori friends would say, would be, it was sore as. but kapai. You know, it's that shows, right? If it was sore, then I need to do it more often. So, you know, definitely took a bunch of momies from this. I'm just sad that I was not able to join in yesterday, but I'm glad I was here today. So mahalo o ko pakahea pau Nick Uluwehi, mahalo ia olua ka malama ka oko nui ana. Bye. Aloha. Kia ora.
Kia aloha. Yep. Not saying how old our young Kumukamana is, but he knew me before I knew Lomi. And so he actually put me on this path. He was one of those phenomenal teachers. He was when I was a freshman in my first year out of high school and into college. One of my classes that was always stayed with me was Kumukamana's one. So mahalo for, he knew me all this time. So thanks for helping me get into this place. Idana, is that a name?
Hi, aloha. Kalamai, I had my video off because I was kind of multitasking, but then I stopped doing that. But yes, I just want to mahalo you for all that you shared, and mahalo everyone as well, because not only is my body, my physical body feeling better, but many other parts of me are as well, just from stories that came back to me, teachers that I've had and what they've shared with me. So you helped me to remember things that I haven't really thought about in a while. And, you know, that's the magic, I think, just when you can connect on those levels. And I think I want to share one thing that I learned from Auntie Margaret, and she was amazing. But, you know, one thing she taught us to do was just to let go. And she taught at her beach house down at KA Beach, and they had the most beautiful sunsets. And so every day it was kind of a great reminder, you know, just let go. And I think I heard that growing up, you know, your grandparents, your parents tells you, don't go to bed angry. And yeah, whatever that means. But as I got older and I was reminded of that, and I saw the sunsets and I started doing it, I saw the value. Because it's those things we hold on inside that kind of hold us down and, you know, bring stuff. So that was a good lesson, you know, just let go and start again tomorrow. So thank you for letting me go some of the stuff I was carrying earlier before this session started, and for all the good stuff that you brought. I'm just very grateful. Nick, Uluwehi, great job. Glad I could come. So mahalo, mahalo.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Mahalo. The mahalo for sharing. Lireen. And the next is Lane Richards.
Aloha. I just want to say mahalo. Pua, your energy is so amazing. And you're so real. I love it. It just like me as a mama too. This morning I was taking care of my Keiki and saying goodbye to them because they're going to do their extracurricular things today. And then I have my Pepe over here with me. So I was taking care of her and just seeing you with yours. I was like, oh, I need to do that again and lomi her and be more intentional and just spend that time, because I did it with my older two. So it was good reminders because it's a really good time for everybody, and just have that energy and just centering yourself and all that good stuff. But mahalo for that.
Mahalo. Great. Lane.
Oh, mahalo nui. Just like everybody else, really, really appreciative of this workshop. Lots of great reminders about Kūpuna and about Ike that sometimes we choose and sometimes chooses us. And just really good reminders. I grew up thinking I must have been the only person in the world who, whose parents and grandparents told them to walk on their back and their hands and all of that. And I was just like, oh, so shame. I'll never tell my friends that I do that. And then come to find out when you grow up, a lot of people do the same thing. And it is actually a cultural thing. There's lots of, culture at its best is unconscious, right? And it's passed down from generation to generation without even realizing it. And so I just so appreciate looking at lomi and healing and wellness, and just really appreciated the sessions yesterday and today. So mahalo nui. Aloha.
Hello. Kanoilani.
Aloha mai kako. This was, all I can say is mahalo. I mean, there's really no words to express this aloha that was shared today. And I wanted to honor your kupuna and my grandfather, who also has just passed recently, and he was my kumu lomi and my kumu la'olapa also. I just wanted to lift up his name. So thank you for sharing your story, because like the person who just shared before me, you didn't know that other people had to painfully walk on your grandfather's back every day and lomi, and it was, or you felt their nails, they had that one long thumbnail that would always dig into your back because they had to lomi, and you're like, why is your nail so long? And you come to realize like, oh yeah, that held mana in itself because of their practice. So there's all these things, and it's really nice to hear peers and people in this generation share this because it makes it easier to know that we're still on the right path. So mahalo.
P. Joel. Ting. Are you there, Ting Ortiz? Lorianne Kaduka.
Lorraine, and mahalo
Oh, Lorraine.
nui. No problem. Mahalo nui for your sharing. Enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm sorry I missed yesterday. I loved watching you with your Keiki. My Keiki are grown, but I remember, filming them when they were little, as they got older. And one, you said the way your son massaged you, one of the three, my three boys, had that touch. And he was my chosen. When mommy had headache and mommy had sore neck, he would come and he would be able to do that and get to it. The other two, not so good, but they would try. And I miss that because they're now living on the mainland and I don't have that touch. And boy, did my heart sing when I saw you with your babies. But that's the memory that came back to me of what we did too. So mahalo for all the momi I took from today. And I'm going to look at the video from yesterday because I so thoroughly enjoyed today. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Barbara, and then we'll turn it back to Nick and Uluwehi.
Thank you so much. Mahalo nui loa. It's nice to hear all the wonderful local accents. And I'm from the other generation, believe it or not. And when I heard Lomilomi, I was just like, salmon? What are we gonna do with raw salmon here? And how are we gonna fix it up differently? So it was really nice to it was really nice. You know, you're always told growing up that many words mean the same thing. And you never realize just how many, you know, when I was learning Hawaiian, we only had the 13 alphabets. So it's really nice to learn more and more of the Lomilomi and so many other things that are out there. So thank you. And yes, it's wonderful to have such a wonderful personality to come through and share this with us. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. You can thank Nick for putting me on the list. So mahalo, Nick.
Oh, it's not me. Uluwehi also voted for you as well. So, but before I give it back to Uluwehi, I wanted to just mahalo you, Pua. You know, it's been really an honor to know you. And just a little background, I didn't know Pua before last year, like maybe around December time, yeah. November, December, my wife was hapai or hapu. She was pregnant with our now 1-year-old baby, and Pua led a class on traditional birthing practices, and it was absolutely amazing. And a part of it was la'au lapa'au and the things to prepare mama, and and I learned my kuleana of taking care of her, but also to lomi her, and the way that you presented in the digital space was one of the reasons why we advocated for you. And just that concept of loving the body is something that I will always carry with me when I try to lomi her or my own family, you know, my Keiki. And so, yeah, mahalo for sharing. And, you know, it's been a really stressful thing helping to organize this summit. And I just want to mahalo everybody for the reminders to it's not really a well-being practice to organize these things. So coming here today was, you know, there's so many things, so many moving parts to make these things happen. And we're making this up, you know. So yeah, mahalo Pua for the reminder to just breathe and to find those spots and address the parts of us that need attention. So mahalo to you. Uluwehi.
Mahalo to all of you for being here. I miss being in person, and like Pua mentioned, you know, feeling the mana and sharing the energy. And this space is definitely a healing and a loving space. And Pua, I mahalo the powers that be that have brought us to be friends over the years and recently back into each other's lives more frequently. One of the things that really resonated with so many of the momi that I took away from the sessions is the word hoa. You know, one of the options we had was to lomi a hoa, but knowing that in our hoa aloha, in creating those bonds and those friendships, in the word itself, when we can translate in so many different ways with diacritical marks, ho'a, to ignite that aloha. And that's what you've done for me. especially today, to reignite certain parts of myself, my passions, and my love for this work that brought us together in the first place, with the healing and the love for our bodies and our mamas and our babies. So mahalo po.
Well, mahalo is really what Auntie Margaret said, is that we're really just a vessel. So mahalo ke akua for opening this space, and all the kupuna that, as fun and resilient as they are, they found really clever ways to ensure that these momis made it through us. And so we wouldn't be here without them resisting the generation that's the colonial forces that said, oh, the old ways, they don't matter anymore. They're not important, but resisted that and made sure to pass on these little momis. And so we mahalo that so much. So mahalo everyone for their hearts and adding to this collective mana. It's really we do it together. Everyone's mana contributes to this space. And so you guys all filled up my omeke. And so yeah. We'll just take a collective breath together. And then if Nick or Uluwehi wants to share that closing slide with my contact information, you guys are more than welcome to connect on Instagram, Facebook, or through email me if you have any questions. If you're ever on Oahu and want to come get a lomi, or if you like doTERRA essential oils, you need some more, I would love to share those gifts. And so mahalo again. And then if we can just close with 2 breaths, really those deep breaths that we learned about. And then clap 2 times. Amama ua noa, lele vale. Mahalo nui. Aloha nui, mahalo. Mahalo for everyone sharing. That was such a beautiful share.
Yeah, mahalo to you, Pua. And just a few closing things. Those of you who are out here and would like more, Uluwehi and I are so proud to say that Pua will be returning to us again in April. And some people aren't aware, but we are actually going to have April 1st and April 2nd presentations with some additional practitioners, but Pua has agreed to do one more. And so we're going to take a deeper dive, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you would like to visit our homepage and see our other lineup, hopefully you guys will go. You need to register. So on that website, you can register for April sessions just to ensure we have enough digital seats for all. So yeah, mahalo Pua for agreeing. I believe you're Friday, April 1st at 9 to 11 Hawaii Standard Time. And then there is one additional thing that we need to do housekeeping wise, and that is to put this, I'm going to put another link in the chat, and this is our survey for Saturday. And so please take some time, give us some feedback. We'd like to, improve the experience as well as hear what really resonated with you. So please take a moment to share with us, is this something you want to see more in the future? Let our big bosses know. So we really appreciate your time and taking that survey. Any last thoughts, Uluwehi?
It's mahalo to everyone. It's a lovely way to spend a Saturday morning.
Yeah,
I'm sorry it was so stressful, and thank you so much for putting through that to get us here.